Hi, welcome back. Welcome to Chapter 7. So in this chapter, one of the things we're going to be focusing on is the ideate. That's kind of the theme for this chapter. And it introduces a term that you might not be familiar with, which is called an intrapreneur. So I think we've all heard of entrepreneur and how they help to create new business ideas or new things or create something that doesn't exist. And an intrapreneur does a very similar thing, but they do it within a business. So they're already doing a business, they're already doing a job, and they're trying to create a new process or a new thing within the components that they're already doing. So they're an ideator. So one of the things that they do is they help to combine discipline with discovery to find new solutions to old problems. So we already have this and we want to find a new or better way to do it. So your intrapreneur helps to improve those processes, helps to improve those solutions and find better ways by combining discipline and discovery. So that's a really important thing too for those that are already working in a field and are just trying to make it better. When we ideate, and this is creating these ideas, we want to engage in it. There's a couple of different things that can help us to be better at ideating and improve that process. And one of them is to stay motivated. If we're not looking for solutions, we won't find them. So we have to be motivated to do it. We have to be seeking them out. We have to be wanting to look for those new discoveries, those new things. People often say that they become self-actualized when they feel that they're involved in making a difference or working harder. And this self-actualization is something we're always looking for. Like, I really feel complete and whole. And they will work harder and they will create new solutions when they feel that they're getting that same thing back. So we want employees who feel fulfilled and feel like they can engage in new ideas and breakthrough ideas and creating new things, and that those are going to be received well and considered. Not necessarily that each and every idea is going to happen, but that they're motivated to come up with new and more ideas because people want to listen to them and they feel open in that process. So one of the biggest things is that they're motivated. They want to do it because they're going to be received well or have the opportunity to continue to use their talents in a positive way. Something else they need to do is be able to dream new possibilities with personal exploration approaches. What this means is that we need to allow for people to have basically mental breaks. How do I walk away from the process for a while? Many of you have been through that. You've work, and there's a point where you're like, I've got to take a break. I've got to come away from this process for a minute and then come back to it. And this helps a lot with creative writing. It helps with ideas, and we just have to step away for a while. So we need an environment that allows us to do that. Sometimes we're studying so hard. It's just taking too much out of us and we can't see what's right in front of us. So we've got to have an environment that allows for those mental breaks and a getaway from the problem. And that can be a longer getaway for a weekend, or it can be just a simple thing. I know for myself, I frequently, when I take long drives, or bathing, those are two things where my mind is like idle. It's not filled with all this other stuff, and I have great ideas. 2 times when it's very difficult to write down my new idea. But those are 2 times that are really creative for me. And we encourage you in the assignments for this week to start thinking about that for yourself. What are those times where I get away, and what do you do? Do you take a walk? Do you take a bath? Do you play with your dog? I mean, what is it that happens? It gives you that mental break that allows you to come back refreshed and see things in a new way. So that's very important in a creative process to ideate. Another thing is to embody the ideation through your personality. What this simply means is that you have the right characteristics that allow you to be creative, that you have the personality characteristics and you use those personality characteristics to be creative. And what characteristics are we looking at? We're looking at people who are honest with themselves. We're looking for people who are open to new experiences, willing to try new things, and that can tolerate ambiguity. So when you are not clear what's next, that it doesn't overstress them, and they're willing to be risk takers. So you have to be open to ideas, open to ambiguity, and willing to take the risk and come out of your comfort zone a little bit. The last thing that you need to be a good ideator is the ability to imagine the positive state. You need to be able to combine your thoughts with other ideas and other things that you may have seen. So, as you're pondering and as you're thinking, think about things that aren't there. What isn't there? How have I seen this happen before in other arenas, in other areas, and other things? To be able to place things in, to manipulate things, to put ideas where they weren't. See what isn't there. So what if I put different buttons on this outfit? And if you remember this thing we saw here, and I place it there. So being able to kind of mix and match and change things around allows us to imagine it differently. I think it's really important, that we cross fields. That's, again, where we go back into interdisciplinary sciences. In like IDS 1000, you look at different fields and how they see situations differently. It's really, really helpful. Like if I'm looking for a new idea on a soda I want to make, maybe I need to look at ideas of other beverages. What can that share? And it doesn't have to just stay in that narrow scope, because there's other ideas out there that we want to bring forward or into what we're doing. The key to effective creative problem solving is to be able to generate many alternative ideas. I think you've heard me talk about that already before, because it helps us to have many different options to choose from. So we have a different idea, and we need to be able to examine each of those ideas and decide which one is the better one that we want to move forward with. So it's really important that we put effort into ideating, and that we help ourselves to create different ideas and be familiar with different things, and taking the time to really define the problem well, which we talked about, and then talk about, well, how many different solutions can I come up with? Whatever. It doesn't mean you're going to use them all, but we know that actually about a third of the ideas we come up with at first are not the best ideas. So the ones that come to us easily, the ones that come to us readily, they're not the best ones. They've already been done, or we've already had the opportunity to explore that a little bit. You have to stick with it. Stay with it longer. Stay with it more intensely. Have other people in the process. It's the second level of ideas that have some real sticking power. So if it's coming too easily, it's probably not where you need to go. But you need that. You need to go through the first level to get to the second level. So we want to go deeper. We want to go further. We want to come up with new and better ideas. It helps us to think divergently. It helps us to think, again, coming outside of that scope and adding more, depth to the process and what we're thinking. And one of the things that they'll talk about also is, thinking laterally. So taking information and sharing it across fields. So we're stretching ourselves as opposed to just this. We're going to get rid of that black and white, and we're going to stretch ourselves out. We're going to open our minds. We're going to think divergently. We're going to go what if, and just keep adding to those sides, adding to that depth, adding to making the situation broader so we have more information we can bring forward. Idea generators are really good at visualizing new possibilities. What if I could see this outcome? I could see this thing that doesn't exist anymore. They have to be able to see what isn't there and then go back and create it, or decide, should it be created, or is it a good idea? But to see what isn't there, to imagine it. When you see these people have these great ideas, the cell phones, the computers, Siri, there's so many things every day that somebody envisioned and then went back and figured out how to make it happen. So you have to see what isn't there yet. And don't underestimate the power of play. That is really, really important. It's something that we lose as children. Usually around 10 or 12, we start to become much more conforming. Standards are set up and create that. We conform to peer pressure, and we forget to play. We forget to use that creative process. We forget to just have fun with things. And in that, we lose some of our creative talents. So we got to go back in and tap into those. So I want to encourage all of you guys to stretch yourselves, find new avenues, think divergently, and play. That's your homework for this week. All right? So I will see you back here very soon for Chapter 8. See you soon.